Hi, and welcome to Cut the Crap, the podcast. My name is Lamaan, and I'm going to be hosting real people having real conversations. I find that health stems well beyond your food and weight, and that with the right conversation, not only can we gain perspective, but spark positive, lasting change. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's conversation. May Mahmoud.
Hi.
عشان نكنفس ونبتدي الحلقة صح؟ احنا بقالنا بتاع 4 ساعات بنتكلم. بس we tried very hard not away من your specialty. And I'm saving this question. So, Inti, you're an energy healer. And because of your work with energies and crystals, you have a jewelry line made out of crystals. The purpose of healing. يعني ايه energy healing? Like I get the concept, but مش عارفة يعني ايه بالظبط.
So, energy healing for everyone is different. I mean, for you it could mean something, and for me it could mean something. And I've realized over the past 4 years that every person defines energy and healing in their own way. So for me, the word energy alone means the vibe, everything that's really like related to chemistry, frequencies, literally like a lot of things. But you know how when you sit with someone and you get a vibe, you get a certain
بتحسي لو مرتاحة لا في حاجة غلط.
Sometimes you feel like a tingling sensation. Sometimes you feel like you just want to get up and leave, and sometimes you feel like you want to sit and you want to talk more and more. This to me is energy.
Okay.
Healing with energy is a very big thing, and it's very, very broad, and there are lots of different kinds of healing. But for me, I started with crystal healing, and that was with my first healer, and her name was Mayana, and she was the one who taught me everything about energy healing, crystal healing. Yeah, and that's where I took it from.
What do you heal with energy? Yani, can you heal
Almost
cancer?
anything.
Can you heal a flu? Can you heal a broken back? What can you heal?
You can heal everything, physically, emotionally, and on any kind of level.
I'm gonna hold my mic because I just want to sit and listen. I'm just gonna hold my mic.
Okay, so look, basically 4 years ago, I sat with my mom and I understood more about Reiki. My mom is a Reiki master, and Reiki is hands-on healing, and it literally heals anything.
So let's say, okay, so there are types of energy healing. There's crystal healing, so healing with crystals. There's Reiki,
which is hands-on healing. So you can either place your hands on the patient or you can do it from far. It depends. They're the ones who have to tell you like whether they agree that you place your hands on them or not.
And then what's another form of energy healing?
Another form of energy healing is pranic healing.
Mm-hmm. Which is what?
Pranic healing is a bit different. It's not really like it's the same idea. You sit also, you do the session on the bed, but I'm not so sure how they do the session. I've never tried it because I've heard a lot of things about it, and I'm not really interested in
getting into that. But then there's also sound healing.
It's with the gongs or with the bowls, crystal bowls, and actually sound healing is one of the best kind of healing. Why? Because you actually go to another level of just you just go completely, and you feel like you're flying. You feel like you really moved away from this planet, you know, and it takes you to places you actually feel like you are healing on that journey. So it's a very, very special journey.
So the idea is these natural substances from earth, أو من human to human, and if it has the power to heal something that scientists have or medicine has evolved over years and doctors and science to heal. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, although I am completely pro energy healing personally. But what would you say to someone? يعني أنا لو أنا ظهري اتكسر, I'll probably instinctively go to the hospital مثلا. So can they compare, or is there a situation where energy healing is better?
With energy healing, you have to be very patient. So the difference is, if you go to the hospital and you choose to go to the hospital, you're going to the hospital and you're going to instantly find the doctor. The doctor is going to work on you. In a second, you'll find out what you have.
Take some morphine.
يعني literally كل حاجة is going to be set, like it's a routine at the hospital that you. But with energy, it's a lot slower, but الفايدة بتاعتها is a lot longer. You actually feel so much better on an emotional and on a physical level. So it's completely different. You just need to be patient and you need to believe in it.
What would you say to someone that's like, how can a crystal, just any one of these, I know each crystal, we'll get into the crystals later, but كل crystal has a specific focus. But what would you tell someone that's like, how can a crystal heal my energy? And how is my sickness energy based أصلا?
Anything is energy based. Anything that comes from Mother Earth, anything that comes from the ground, anything that comes from this natural life has energy. Okay, a plant has energy, right? And even the wood has energy. Okay, so if I were to test the energy of the plants, of humans, of certain materials, you would see my pendulum, which is the way we read energy and the way I can tell whether your chakra is closed, whether it's opened, whether it's balanced, overworking, etc. I can find out from the pendulum, and this pendulum actually tells me whether this thing, this being, is functioning well energetically or not. So it's really it's a very, very big topic, and we can get into many things regarding that, but
let me start by saying, what types of things can throw off your pendulum?
So I've had once this a friend of mine who was with me at home, and she wanted me to read her energy, and while I was reading her energy, my pendulum fell and broke.
حسد.
Yeah, that's what Egyptians would say. بس لا، هو مش حسد قد ما هو هي خدت energy معينة و it just broke. Instead of this dangerous thing that could have happened to the girl, or instead of her taking in more of this negative energy, it just wanted to release. So it released and it just broke.
What would that translate into? That she had so much negative energy that...
No, it does not translate that she has so much negative energy, but there was a certain energy that does not serve her anymore.
Okay. There's a lot of things about energy and energy healing and Reiki that يعني أنا كل واحد حر في رأيه طبعا، وأنا I'm not in any position to speak on behalf of religion or any religion, but for me personally, understanding energy and Reiki and crystals, actually I find similarities في ديني مثلا. السبحة, it's crystals أو خشب, لأن خشب doesn't retain energy, which we'll get into. الريكي, a lot of the Reiki is شبه الوضوء. You have to wash your hands above the elbow, and you have to wash your feet, because those motions release certain energies, and they wash مثلا negativity off of you or something off of you. حتى لما حاجة تتكسر, when something breaks, خدت الشر وراحت is something we say a lot, صح؟ أو the Greeks, they break plates to release energy. So I feel like if you really give it give it the respect that energy healing isn't just like this voodoo, like eminent energy. No, it's like an actual science.
Whenever someone asks me like, what do you do? And when I say like, I'm an energy healer, a crystal healer, or like I do
It's
things.
taken lightly.
لا not lightly. It's بيضحكوا عليا زي كأني مثلا دجالة, زي كأني يعني جاية من عالم تاني. I understand. Not everyone, it's not for everyone.
And they also think if you're an energy healer, it means you're always living in pure serendipity and happiness. I think
relax. Actually, what got me into this was how much I've been through so many difficult things.
And you've been through a lot of things.
I have been. And where I am today is really like, it's a miracle.
Instinctively when you get into energy healing, it's going to be اللي هو أيوة يعني إيه وبيضحكوا عليكي, it's taken lightly. But if you give it an opportunity, هتلاقي in a lot of cultures and of the oldest of cultures and in all religions, there's a habit or a ritual that relates back to energy.
Yes.
What kinds of things got you into energy healing? I know the first time you and I spoke about it, it wasn't even something anyone talked about. Now we talk about meditation and healing and therapy, and it's becoming part of the conversation. But how did you get into energy healing? Get very comfortable.
Very, very long story. So basically 4 years ago, I was going through a very, very, very difficult marriage, and I wanted to do something for myself, something to feel like I was feeling myself into it and feeling that I have a purpose. I wanted to feel this. And I had left university for a while in order to get married, and I never thought of going back while I was married because I had a lot of things to deal with. I just decided to start by making rosaries, and I wanted to specifically design each rosary to be completely different and completely unique. And even if someone would call me and ask me for the same exact thing that I already had sold, I wouldn't accept to repeat the same one because I wanted to stay with the idea of each person having their own unique sepha or rosary. And then after 2 years, after my divorce and after everything I've been through, I really tried all kinds of therapy. Nothing worked. So I was introduced to the energy world. And
if I remember correctly, انت عملتي موضوع الروزري ده وقت رمضان.
كان رمضان 2016.
And crystals were becoming this like new fashion trend of the stackable bracelets, and you without noticing you gravitated towards this project, not knowing.
And it wasn't even a project. It was just something I was trying.
It's 120. I mean, it's good, but it's not a business. Like,
yeah,
it's 120.
It wasn't a business,
it's
really.
like
I didn't even have like branding. I didn't have anything. It was just something. Even my Instagram looked crap.
But it's interesting that you gravitated towards it without any purpose, and then you let it go, and then a couple years later, you're like right back there, and you're like, subhanallah, I just did that for no reason, and it was like you planted a seed. And okay, so flash forward.
Okay. And I started again after having a lot of people who really pushed me into like, Yalla May, you need to do it again. You were really good at it.
Was this after the divorce and the therapy, or?
After all of that, I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna start my jewelry line again. I'm gonna work on it harder. And then I started working, and I started I first went to my healer, who a friend of mine introduced me to, which is Mayana that I spoke about in the beginning. And Mayana, she told me from the first time she met me that I'm a healer.
I remember this.
Yeah.
And someone randomly also said this to you, صح?
Like 3 different healers actually told me that. So I actually knew that I had it in me because my mom is a Reiki master, and I used to I used to play around with it and try it out on friends, and they would laugh at me. And like when we had finals and exams, I used to like let's do EFT, like it's called, like EFT is an emotional freedom technique. Let's do it, and they would laugh at me, but they would still do it, and we would laugh it off, you know, and then I just decided to take it really seriously, you know. I was like, this is where I belong. This is home for me.
But you're okay with people laughing at it because I feel like you've been through the worst of pain and confusion and existential crises and betrayal, and you've been through a lot of things, and you can share as much or as little as you want, but and losing yourself and going off track. You've been through so many things.
Yeah, and you don't lose yourself once or twice. You lose yourself
a couple
all along the journey.
Yeah. So I feel like because you've seen that after committing to the process of energy healing, whichever one of the categories we listed before, and with time and discipline, it was able to heal you more than you said your therapist or a psychiatrist or pills or antidepressants. It had a longer lasting effect. فأكيد انتي دلوقتي لما حد يجي يضحك, it's just like, it's because you don't get it.
Yeah, it's because you don't get it, and it's because you will eventually one day have to take that road.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, because that's the road to waking up.
You think eventually every single person is going to have to go down the road of energy healing?
You'll have to eventually wake up. And unfortunately, almost everyone we know is asleep. Almost everyone we know hides behind alcohol and drugs and all sorts of things, and no one wants to face any of their fears, any of their problems. And you know, the longer you put a hold to it, the more miserable you'll be. And it's like, I found someone who came and who just took me by the hand and took me to someone who really changed my life. Yani I wouldn't have ever imagined that energy is outside Reiki for me. It was just Reiki and mom doing Reiki, practicing Reiki, and hearing about things like that, like horoscopes and astrology and astronomy, and عادي playing with my crystals and stones. I'm into fashion وبحب الحاجات دي. I was like, you know, I'm just doing it كده. بعدين every time, like I would go down, I would have to start something to be able to go up, and this something would be energy related. Whatever it was. Like I've tried so many things with energy. I've tried EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, which is tapping everywhere to stimulate the blood and to stimulate a lot of tap everywhere.
It's because there's parts of your nervous system that you're
tapping on, yeah, and you're moving the blood to other places, and tapping, actually by tapping and by saying things like, I want to stop smoking, I want to stop drinking, but I still love and accept myself. You have to give this affirmation to yourself that even though you do this, you still love and accept yourself.
You know, even words are the strongest carriers of energy, because even in cartoons, a spell is a combination of words. So words are spells.
Speaking about spells, you know that with energy, you can actually stop someone from harming you. Because if someone decides to go and put a spell on you, you know, if you shut your energy against anything evil, against anything, even with the evil eye, العين, كل الحاجات دي, just ارفعي الحيطة ما بينك وما بين أي حاجة نيجاتيف. قولي لنفسك إنه ما فيش أي حاجة هتقرب لك. ودايما you imagine white light.
But if it was that easy, though, everyone would just protect themselves. But it's
no, people don't want to protect themselves anymore, ya Lulu. خلاص.
No,
it's not. It's a lot. It's beyond.
I think it's not even just about believing in terms of like acknowledging. I think people think when they say I believe, they're actually just acknowledging. Yeah. Believing is actually releasing to it, like if you're bungee jumping. Yeah. It's not knowing like I know it's gonna hold me, but if you know it's gonna hold you, jump. Yeah. It's the jumping part. اللي هو أنا I surrender to the process, or I surrender to the experience, or to this feeling, or I trust إن أنا محمية مثلا, I'm protected. So it's that.
القرآن بقى, يجي الإنجيل,
صلاة,
يجي كل الحاجات دي اللي هي أنت كل ما هتقربي من ربنا كل ما ربنا هيقرب منك.
طب ليه ناس بتقعد تقول energy, يعني ليه ناس دايما بيخلوا ان الدين والانرجي كأنك كفرة مثلا, كأنك if you believe in the energy ايه ده, لا
عشان
كذا.
people mistaken energy with spirits and people mistake energy with
a religion. It's not.
No, بالعكس, you know, القرآن ده في كل حاجة, في كل حاجة.
طب ما القرآن حتى in reciting it,
القرآن أصلاً
the energy of it
القرآن is an energy book. خلاص, أي حاجة هتلاقيها في القرآن, أي سؤال عندك رده في القرآن, أي حاجة عايزة, حتى لو عايزة تحمي نفسك من أي شر, في صور في القرآن.
المعوذات مثلا.
Exactly. It's the same thing. هو with energy, I protect myself with a crystal I'm wearing. I protect with myself with certain incense. كل الحاجات دي. طب ما احنا عندنا بخور. هو نفس فكرة الانسنس.
Okay, I feel like energy. I don't know why I keep saying I feel. This is actually, it's not what I feel. It's what I know.
It's what you know.
Energy is the more you test it في حاجات صغيرة.
Yeah.
you give it a little bit of leeway in your life. بتقوي العضلة. تبتدي انتي كل ما بتوعي او تصحي او تصحصحي.
Yeah.
كل ما الحاجات بتوصلك اكتر. يعني انا بجد بيجيلي ساعات I think I'm psychic. يعني انا ممكن وصلت البوينت and I've been working on this for so long because when I lost myself and I grew up very disciplined. I was very committed to my religion and my practice, but I had to أبعد عشان أرجع بطريقة أنا بمفهومي.
صح.
And learning about energy and learning about these things made me understand and appreciate and respect my religion even more.
But I want to say something on that. The way we're taught religion is another thing.
It's so scary.
It's another thing because who teaches you religion من وانتي صغيرة? Your parents, your elder siblings, شيخ, مدرسة دين, كل ده outside sources. القرآن والدين بتاعك جواكي مش براكي. أي حاجة هتقري قرآن مثلا بتقريه وبعدين مثلا مش فاهمة حاجات فبتجيبي تفسيرات. هو التفسيرات دي بتاعت مين؟ حد تاني مش بتاعت ربنا, بتاعت حد تاني. فانتي في التفسير انتي بتقري هو فسر القرآن ازاي. فأي حاجة related لانرجي كلها جواكي. حتى انتي لما تقري قرآن مرة واثنين وثلاثة واربعة, كل مرة هتقريه هتفهميه بطريقة مختلفة, هتفهمي حاجات اكتر وهتفهميه بطريقة مختلفة, وكل حاجة your perspective changes وكل حاجة بتتغير. So this journey, this energy journey is only yours, no one else's. You need to fall and get up alone without anyone helping you. You need to find yourself on your own. You need to read Quran, Injil, whatever on your own بمفهومك انتي. ولو ما فهمتيهوش اقري تاني وتالت ورابع لحد لما تفهمي.
واسألي, بس اسألي وفكري and rationalize وشوفي what makes sense.
وزي ما الشيوخ بيطلعوا الانرجي هيلرز مجانين وشعوذة وكده, انا I don't believe in شيخ. I don't think انه شيخ بيوصل لي بالعكس. انا لما انا في الاول زمان كنت بخاف من القرآن, من اني اسمع قرآن, وكنت بخاف من الحاجات دي.
Let's clarify. انت بتخافي, انت مش بتحبي فكرة الشيخ, ملهاش دعوة بالدين عشان بس الناس تحبك.
لا طبعا ملهاش دعوة بالدين, بالعكس انا واحدة متدينة جدا, ملتزمة, مش لازم اقول متدينة جدا بس ملتزمة, وبصلي من وانا عندي 7 سنين, وبقرا قرآن وبختمه, الحمد لله a lot of things. لكن لما بسأل حد انا ما بروحش اسأل شيخ, لان انا لما اروح اسأل شيخ الشيخ بيخوفني. هو المفروض يحببني في ديني اكتر, مش يخوفني.
وعارفة ليه بيحصل كده؟ لأن إحنا اتربينا بطريقة إن عشان تسمعي كلامي أنا هخوفك. علمونا إيه اللي يخوف في الدين، مش إيه اللي يحببك فيه. لأن الدين الإسلامي هو أصلا كله عن intentions love و coming from a place of forgiveness، العسى واليسر والمحبة والتسامح يعني لكم دين ولي دين والقبول وبيبقى ليه، وكل حاجة حتى بتطلب مننا نعملها بيبقى ليها سبب كويس قوي. فليه ما بنركزش ان احنا نشرح الاسباب؟ احنا بنعمل كذا عشان كذا وبنبعد عن كذا عشان كذا. ليه لازم ولو عملتي المسيح الدجال هتخبطك تحت الارض وتطلعي 100 مره
او القبر؟ ليه؟ ربنا رحيم. ربنا ما خلقناش عشان يعذبنا. ربنا خلقنا في الدنيا عشان نمشي على حاجات معينه ونوصل بقى في حته احنا.
وانتي لسه قايله البذرة اللي اتزرعت اللي عامله لنا معظم المشاكل. احنا حد اقنع العالم ان احنا جايين نتعذب and that's why we don't want to protect ourselves زي ما قلتي من بدري. لان we think life has to be miserable, love has to be hard, الشغل has to be hard, انك تربي عيلة has to be hard.
When we're all victims of all this.
It doesn't have to be. If it's hard وحاسة انه it's against the current, then it's against the current. It's not your flow. انتي في حاجة في يومياتك او your energy او your environment مخلياكي out of flow. You're trying to do something that's not for you.
Disconnected. Yes.
Disconnected would be another word. I don't even know where to go now. Can I tell you a really cool story about crystals?
Of course.
وانا صغيرة كنت دايما بنروح سقارة ونركب خيل، وكنت بحب قوي الصحراء ساعتها. كنت دايما بسرح في الصحراء and I would collect cool rocks. And the last time I did that كان probably عندي 8 سنين. Okay? كنت باخدهم معايا وحطهم في زيب لوكس وحوشهم عندي. سابوا في الدرج والبيت. I left my childhood home من سنين and I haven't been back. And a couple years ago رجعت وببص بقى في كل الحاجات القديمة. That previous summer I was just introduced to crystals. وكنت قريت عنهم and I went online and I bought 2 crystals, quartz. اللي هما to calm you down. That's just the first thing I needed. I bought the chunky one and then the one that's like كأنها متقطعة perfectly. دي عارفاها اللي هي بتبقى like a rectangle. Maybe it's not called a quartz, that one. It's a quartz. Anyway يعني chunky one and a slightly smoother surfaced one. رجعت مصر. I was like بقالي كتير ما رحتش البيت. Let me go look through my childhood things. طلعت حاجات and I found my Ziploc. And I swear to God, and I'm going to try and put this as B-roll. Chunky quartz and smooth surface rectangular. دول اللي أنا خدتهم من صحراء من أكتر من 10 سنين. هم بالضبط حطيتهم جنب اللي أنا شارياهم. They are exactly the same in size and dimension and surface area and everything. Isn't that weird? And I used to call them cool rocks. I didn't know they had any power to them. Nothing.
Yeah, the power in stones and crystals is insane. يعني I've started with crystal healing, going to Mayana for crystal healing sessions, and they really they work.
What happens if you don't heal the energy that is trapped inside of you over time? What happens if you keep things in? Because I do hear that it can cause actual physical illness, cancer. That's a cancer. That's ضغط, سكر, cholesterol.
So you always need to release the energy, whether it's through energy healing or whether it's through physical activity, whether you're gonna just go work out, go take a dip in the sea, cleanse yourself with incenses, or put salt in the corner of your house, whichever way.
بخور.
Incense, yes. This is يعني.
But what happens when you don't do that?
Trap it, and when you trap it, you pass it along to your kids, to your siblings, to your parents. You pass it around to people, to your friends.
Because you're holding on to this energy.
Of course, especially a pregnant woman. So with a pregnant woman, if she's having a baby, and she's trapping a lot of negative energy inside her, if she has anxiety, if she is fighting 24/7 with her husband and she's running around the house and running errands all the time and I don't know what she's doing and she's like all over the place and she's not looking inside herself, then the baby would come out as with not with the exact similar it's a lot يعني the baby will come out بقى with trapped traumas, so traumas that could have been passed on from my great grandmother or grandfather. So we have to be very careful with energy, and because energy can be also misused.
What do you mean?
So some people, so like a spell, for example, a spell is misuse of energy.
Do you believe in spells?
Yes, of course I do.
You believe حد ممكن عمل يعني يعمل
Of course, for sure. I've seen a lot of things like that, and I've heard a lot of stories from very close people, and
of Quran.
It's getting very weird because it's getting very close to our circle.
Really?
So this is very unfamiliar to a lot of people, and
so you
to
think
certain classes and all that, but unfortunately it is really like coming very close to our circle.
Like people that are educated would go out of their way.
Yes.
Not to bring positive spells to themselves, but how do you protect yourself from something like that?
You protect yourself by reading يا قرآنك يا إنجيلك يا by stones أو بقى by imagining every day a white light that protects you. Some people imagine that they have roots like a tree, that they have roots and the roots are grounded and that no one can ever come.
And this visualization does help.
And meditation through all of this. يعني في ناس هتلاقيها ما بتفكرش في الحاجات دي وما بتخطرش على بالها. هم دول الناس اللي ممكن يكونوا عاملين كمان protection من غير ما يبقوا واخدين بالهم. وبرضه ساعات بنعيش على protection بتاعت أهلنا بقى.
Someone said this to me once. يعني I don't really like يعني I've played around here and there كده اللي هو عارفة يعني every once in a while someone's been to like a fortune teller or something. واحدة مرة قالت لي انتي في واحد في عيلتك دايما بيسبح دايما شايفاه دايما ماسك سبحة. قلت لها بابي. قالت لي you should thank him, he saved you from a lot of things.
Wow, amazing.
والله. بس بصي مهم قوي ان differentiate انك through energy healing, through activity, through love, through Quran, through salah, but doing it with consciousness
and with intent.
بالظبط. مش اللي هو انا هخش اصلي عشان هم قاعدين بيقولوا يخش يصلي، لا انا بصلي عشان انا عارف او عارفه وانا بصلي this is my intention.
تدي حتى a beggar on the street فلوس او بتعملي حاجه خير، لازم يكون عندك intention وانت بتعمليها. انت مش بتروحي بتطلعي ال10 جنيه ولا ال20 جنيه وبتديها لها وبتمشيها. انت لازم تقولي ده عشان يا رب مامي وبابي واخويا واختي يبقوا بخير، يا رب استر. يعني في intention، في سبب وانت بتطلعي الحاجه الخير دي، في سبب حاجه خير. بصي
It's a big world.
It's all connected. عشان كده للاسف هتلاقينا بنخش من توبيك لتوبيك لانه في كتير، يعني في كتير. بس من عايزه اقول، انت كنت بتقولي fortune teller من شويه او حد من اصحاب مثلا لما بيروحوا كده، انا بقى الحاجات دي مثلا I don't believe in them خالص. هقول لك حاجه، يعني with fortune telling والحاجات دي with coffee cups
بس ثاني لا let me tell you this
spirit here is يعني متواجد. ليه بقى؟ لان في ممكن تيجي تقولك في، يعني انا مثلا اعرف اقرا التارو بس I do it for fun.
Exactly for fun.
اقعد اقرا لاصحابي نقعد نهزر كده، لكن مش بعملها out of انا في حد
انا عايزه اعرف الاجابه
وفي حد بيوشوشني زي مثلا لما بيقروا الكابس وكده، او معايا حد او الكلام اللي انا مش بفهمه ده عشان اقرا لك حاجه لا ومش بقرا لك حاجه
in the future
وكده لا we do it for fun اللي هو كلها حاجات present انا بعملها كده
no but that's true هي صراحة that's what she because she was telling me she's like this is what someone does or did and it protected you like she didn't say it will protect you or انت هيحصل لك حاجة بس كذا and honestly I never actually want to know
بكلمك على ناس كتيرة قوي ما انا اعرف ناس اصحابي كتير قوي ناس كتيرة جدا اعرفهم وحتى انا personally I've tried everything I have a very curious personality
you're a Gemini
I'm a Gemini and يعني yes
بنحب نكتشف the reading and the tarot and we've dabbled طبعا بس انا عن نفسي دايما يعني I've dabbled هنا وهنا كده وقت الجامعه مثلا مع اصحابي او فاهمه تبقي قاعده وبيبقى دايما في اللي هو واحده كده بس هو بقول مش عايزه اعرف اي حاجه هتحصل انا بس عايزه اعرف ايه اللي بيحصل what's happening now فاهمه
برضو ما دخلناش في التوبيك ده برضو حاجات اللي الناس بقت برضو تاخدها ما اعرفش بقى if it's يعني زي الايواسكا مثلا والبلانت ميديسن البلانت ميديسن ده برضو apparently you take it and you go on your journey and you discover yourself في ناس بتطلع منه يعني much better وبيبقوا healed from a lot of things وفي ناس بتطلع منه للأسف paranoid أكتر شوية بس الدنيا بقوا يتكلموا عن الايواسكا دي كتير قوي حتى الموضوع وصل لأهالينا وكده حتى my mom came and asked me what's ayahuasca and I had to explain it to her وكل الكلام ده and cacao medicine والحاجات دي كلها حاجات جاية من حاجات طبيعية من زرع طبيعي وكانوا بيستخدموها زمان لما كانوا بيهيل people ولما كانوا بيبقوا عايزين مش it's not the purpose of it isn't to get high and the purpose of it isn't انك تعمليها وتخرجي بقى وتتنططي وتروحي تهفلطي على ناس no this is not the purpose of it the purpose of it is انك you go on a journey within yourself and it takes you بقى it could take you to your past to your childhood it could take you to your teenage years كل حاجات دي and you start actually seeing things that you don't remember of in this conscious world and it actually helps you unblock and unlock
it's like psychedelic healing yes. لأن انت you're getting like higher above yourself you're انت ما فيش أي حاجة من الكودينج أو الconsciousness متحكمة فيكي أي autopilot
بتعمل دلوقتي in a healthy way وبقى عندك
in controlled environments
وبقى عندك shamans بيجوا بيبقوا يعني طبعا you have to do it مع حد very يعني professional عشان if it goes wrong it could go very bad.
The purpose of this is to show in releasing the control you're trying to have over your mind there's so much that your body knows and your mind can retain that you consciously maybe out of protection or lack of experience مش عارفة توصل لها.
And by going on a trip back just like in psychology with Freud and his way and ولما بتقعدي مع السايكولوجيست وبتحاول تاخدك وتخليكي to go through all the phases all the stages عشان توصلي لحاجه في السبكونشس بتاعك زي هيبنوسيس زي كل الحاجات دي يعني في alternatives كتير قوي and also برضو يعني like medicine انا I got corona a month ago and I didn't take the protocol ولا خدت ادويه ولا خدت اي حاجه because I believe that your body heals itself. So I just took a couple of homeopathy
supplements
and I was يعني I just did it even يعني just for one day وبعدين I left my body to heal itself.
But you have to do that with a certain amount of knowledge and experience يعني مش أي حد فجأة يروح ما يعملش حاجة there's a discipline to it and what you said earlier is important you have to go through your experiences you have to do research you have to fall and you have to get yourself back up this lifestyle requires
believe it from inside not just acknowledge it
it's an execution based life you need to live with action with movement with motion that's living the state of no motion and no movement is dead. So being alive is doing the work, is learning, is reading, is moving. It's motion equals emotion, as Tony Robbins would say. I think that you can heal yourself by giving yourself nothing. في retreats بتسومي for 10 days water fast, and they've healed cancer. They've healed cancer. They've worked with MS patients, and they can even. There's this guy who said through meditation, like very strategic visualization and raw food eating, just eating أكل من الأرض, and fasting in certain increments, he was able to heal his broken back through, they call it neuron visualization. You visualize a procedure so vividly for so many days, like كل يوم بتقعدي كام ساعة حلوين, and you're visualizing it, that your neurons start to act كأنه ده actually بيحصل. And your neurons can do that. There's a lot of times where you watch something and it can excite you or it can make you really upset and you think it's happening now. Your body feels it as if it's happening now when you're just watching something. But it's the same science.
It is.
I want to talk about horoscopes because I think that's one of the first, astrology is the first foot in for a lot of people. كل واحد يعرف برجه ايه more or less, ممكن يعرف a trait or two, but it's not that stereotypical. It's not مش اللي هو النهارده هشوف الهوروسكوب بتاعي بيقول ايه and it's generic and
أنا كده.
انتي بتعملي كده؟
أنا بعمل كده.
I know it's so generic.
بس بعملها يعني بعملها for fun أكتر يعني مش بعملها out of إنه يعني هو يومي هيمشي كده. لا. عندي applications كتيرة قوي على تليفوني كلها حاجات energy related horoscope related وكده لكن يعني let's say إنه with astrology topic أنا وإنتي we're both Geminis بس ممكن نبقى مختلفين في حاجات كتيرة قوي وده ينطبق على البيرسوناليتي بقى والتربية والاكسبيرينسز والجيرني بتاعتك والجيرني بتاعتي كل الكلام ده بس في حاجة أنا وإنتي مش حاجات أنا وإنتي بنتفق عليها أنا وإنتي عاملين زي بعض مثلا في حاجات كتيرة قوي 2 أسد هيبقوا عاملين زي بعض كتير قوي يعني الcompatibility actually أنا كنت زمان أقول إيه يعني أنا اللي ينفع معايا Aquarius وجيميناي وليبرا ومش عارف ايه لا طب ما هو أنا Aquarius وليبرا
بس انتي لو قابلتي حد مثلا ولقيتي ان هو he's a Leo مثلا and I know like us and Leos don't always make sense would you be like لا خلاص مش هتعرف عليه ده ليو
لا ما هو بقى هنا بقى في حاجة بقى أعمق شوية هنا في حاجة اسمها البيرث تشارت البيرث تشارت تقدري تعرفي اكتر منها in more details تعرفي البلانيتس والهاوسز بتاعت البيرسون ده والهوروسكوب بتاعه في الهاوس ده so if you are a Gemini your ascendant can be Pisces what كذا 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 so the ascendant okay in a chart is what you see of a person as soon as you meet them انطباعك عن this person في الأول so أنا for example I'm a Scorpio my ascendant is a Scorpio
I think I'm the same one of them my truer inner self is an Aquarius because I'm really emotional apparently but I'm not very good at showing it yeah but that's definitely not the first thing you get
you need a blue stone
I need a blue stone
you do
okay
be able to express and communicate
yeah maybe
anyway so with the birth chart you can actually find like for example 2 years ago my sister got this girl from Switzerland her name is Eva she gave us Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 and her mom came along and her mom could read birth charts really well so she would read my birth chart and I would give her someone else's birth chart and she would combine both birth charts together and she would tell me if we're aligned or not and what we're aligned like on which level we're aligned and on which level we're not aligned and where there's compatibility and where there isn't. لا دي دنيا تانية خالص.
This topic itself could be a podcast of it, like a podcast show of its own with various different
الناس بتحب قوي بقى الكلام عن الهوروسكوبس وعن التارو والحاجات دي قوي اليومين دول. يعني
Mainly today, I really wanted to talk about the concept of energy healing because although I truly do believe in it and I've read up on it, I just needed someone to tell me, but just put it in a line because it's everywhere. And we're gonna dabble a bit in the horoscopes and the tarot reading and stuff and the energy too. But I definitely want to have like different, more specific conversations on each one of these. For today, we'll kind of just touch base on them, but definitely we gotta talk about everything. It's a whole different world. But you said that there are certain horoscopes that match you as a Gemini. Does this mean that those exact horoscopes would match me as a Gemini?
Not necessarily if we're gonna look into the birth chart in depth.
Because then
a lot of things change.
And the birth chart is like when I was born, where I was born, what time.
Exactly. But in general, us Geminis, we're air signs. And كمان أنا خلي بالك I'm on the cusp. On the cusp means I take from the horoscope before me and from the horoscope after me. فأنا في النص. Being right in the middle changes a lot of things. So that could be different. باخد كتير قوي from Taurus. So برضو يعني غير الجيميناي اللي في النص غير الجيميناي اللي في الآخر غير كل الكلام ده. فطبعا بتفرق قوي في الشارت وبتفرق قوي في حاجات كتيرة جدا. زي ما بقولك بتفرق في البرسوناليتي في التربية في الاكسبيرينسز في كل الحاجات دي. أنا يعني I find it very interesting صراحة إن كل واحد يبقى عارف البيرث chart بتاعه إيه لو يقدر يعرف طبعا. يعني بس at the end of the day to each his own.
I am so Gemini. I'm so in the middle of Gemini and I think that all the characteristics go with me. معرفش بقى لو أنا كده عشان أنا Gemini ولا أنا كده عشان أنا.
We share a lot of things in common حتى with other Geminis. يعني حتى هقولك على حاجة بتفرق طبعا ساعات from girl and boy. بتفرق ساعات كمان إنه إحنا we share a lot of things من الرجالة وهما they share a lot of things من الستات. وفي حاجات completely traits عندهم عشان عندنا الرجاله الجوزاء خاينين مثلا الجوزاء الستات مجانين فعندك خاينين ومجانين.
لا
عادي.
I think مجانين because Geminis are so susceptible to so much energy that sometimes we can't.
We're just all over the place and
I'm so Gemini. I don't even know anything about any other horoscope unless it was a guy I liked and whatever his horoscope probably was. I swear I don't know nothing else except Scorpio مثلا because my mom's a Scorpio and my mom's Scorpio
very strong women from the outside but from the inside they're very fragile.
لا بس الحاجة في Scorpio اللي هي بجد يعني it's so true إنه they will never forget if you do something to hurt them and they will never forget if you do أبسط حاجة تسعدهم. يعني if you pick up a phone and my mom happens to be upset وفرفشتيها عمرها ما هتنساها لك. مرة قلت لها صح وقت قابلت واحدة كذا كذا بنت كذا تقولي مامتها شدت شعري في المدرسة سنة 1900 قلت لها مامي تقولي طول عمرها كانت بتغلس علينا واحنا أصغر منها قلت لها يعني خلاص بس هي never. What can you tell me about Geminis?
Well أنا اللي هقولك على الجيمينايز. أنا يعني
أنتي الخبرة.
لا Geminis girls or boys?
Girls.
Okay, so very talkative.
Really? You don't say?
We could stay here all day and all night.
We have been.
We're very, 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 very energetic.
Here's what I want to know the most. Because I wear my crystal and you have used crystals to heal. And I want to know how does wearing it, like I wear it because this was sentimental. I choose to believe it works and I feel like it does. But
that's the best way to wear it.
To feel like it will.
And also, when you're picking your crystals, you should be very mindful, because picking your crystals is like picking up your baby. And you need to like be very, very careful with them, and never to get upset if your crystal broke, if you lost a crystal at a certain time.
It's meant.
It's meant for this time. It's not meant for you to have it during.
I had a crystal. I had a crystal that I bought because it was pretty. ده في الأول زمان, and apparently it meant like wealth, like money. It was green, prosperity بتاع. I lost it.
Well, tough luck.
I don't know where it is. No, but seriously.
أعمل لك غيرها.
How does wearing crystals, like the one you're wearing, and you've changed crystals from when we were sitting in the morning, and how does wearing a crystal heal your energy? من الآخر, how does that happen?
Well,
why is it not healing me that I'm next to you? Why is it healing?
Because it's touching my skin, it's touching my body, and I mean I love, like, this is howlite, for example. Howlite is to like help with de-stressing, calming. So this is my first interview, and I was a little bit nervous, so I thought wearing a howlite would be like cool.
I love it.
Thank you.
And I know you're not supposed to wear each other's crystals.
Yes, you're not supposed to touch them. بس ده لو we are يعني لو سألتيني can I touch it, of course عادي. بس واحنا بنعمل healing مش أحسن حاجة إنه حد يمسك الكريستالز عشان هما they are here for a certain.
So if I come to you, because you make your jewelry, and I say like, and I want, and I'm actually telling you now, like, I want a necklace, a crystal necklace that's curated.
How do I?
Yeah, I want to know what I need to wear.
Okay, so first of all, I do it in three different ways. My brand's called Kiwi Jewels, and I make crystals. I make rosaries with necklaces and bracelets and anklets, and I even started making dog jewelry and animal jewelry.
They make crystals for dogs apparently now, and babies, and chewables.
I make كمان the amber for the teething. يعني I'm really like taking it up كده شوية a step. المهم, going back to your question, wearing the crystal, أنا بخليكي تعملي 3 options. يا بحط لك أنواع crystals قدامك وإنتي بتشوفي عينك عايزة إيه، وعشان إنتي عينك طلبت الكريستال دي, this is the one that you're attracted to, this is the one that your body needs. بتاخدي الكريستال, بتعرفي اسمها إيه, and you Google, you search and you find that a lot of things من الكريستال اللي انتي اخترتيها دي حاجات جسمك محتاجها أو حاجات جسمك needs to get rid of. بس this is a way. تاني حاجة عندي كويز, لو حد عايز يعمله ببعتوله, بيعمل الكويز, بيرد على كام سؤال, وبعد لما they answer the questions they find out which crystal they need for depending on which chakra you need to open or to balance. And there's a third way where I sit and I talk with you and we get to know each other, and then I automatically customize something for you because I just get the vibe and the feeling, and I make something, of course, with love. And
what vibe are you getting now from me? What would you make me? You can be honest, it's okay.
لا ما أنا I'm very honest. ما أنا يعني بصراحة بحب ال transparent.
This is why I don't like to plan things before the podcast, لأن there's nothing that I can say that I've messed up on, or that I feel, or that I did, or anything, or anyone that someone else hasn't already. صراحة. يعني what's wrong with me?
لا you're perfectly fine. انتي النهارده الصبح جيتيلي يمكن كنت شويه anxious مثلا عشان اليوم بقى هنعمله ازاي وهنبتدي ازاي, وبقالك كتير ما كنتش صورتي صح. لكن لا بالعكس, هديتي شويه, بتزوني on و off شويه, بس بترجعي تاني على طول, بتعرفي.
I zone in. Actually, like there's a few times where you talked where I kind of saw like cloudy, but I hear you perfectly. This year I've been very committed to the rose quartz, because for so many years I chose anger, and I chose to use my I think my talent to speak as a weapon, not as a tool.
Yes.
And because I was given a very sharp tool at a young age, and I hurt a lot of people
وأنا قلت
without
لك you
noticing.
need blue. عارفة ليه؟ أنا بصراحة ما كنتش عارفة القصة دي من قبل ما تقوليها، بس أنا قلت لك you need blue.
To communicate or
Blue
to
is to communicate and to express verbally
the inner feelings.
the inner feelings to balance. ف يعني انا معلش وانا بقول لك you need blue انا ما كنتش قاعده مركزه وبفكر ايه ده البلو بتاعت الثروت chakra ولا هو
Do you know
وانتي اصلا
No.
everything about you is communication and communicating and
Yeah.
وتوصلي للناس
بس no but you know that لو أنا ودي اكتشفتها when I started working في California. I was so stressed وكنت حاسة ان انا I was not worthy of the position that I was in the job. Whenever I feel like كده بتحصلي كتير، ببقى عارفة ان انا في حاجة مش بقولها وعايزة اقولها.
طبعا
ببتدي
البحة
أحس
دي
هنا.
ما هي الحركة دي بتبقى ليها علاقة energetically طبعا للي يصدق.
Oh my god.
ليها طبعا energetically
it.
للي بيصدق of course.
I believe it.
البلو ده is very actually I have a gift for you with blue stones.
You do?
I do هبقى
Okay. I'll accept that gift. Thank you. I'm learning to accept things.
yes of course you have to be open to anything and you have to also live the present.
Yeah, you know that a couple months ago, I was at a friend's house. I love her, Gigi Shaheen. I'm just gonna say her name because القعدة دي لو جيجي كانت هنا بقى ما كناش روحنا، فاهمة؟ كنا فضلنا نتكلم.
في البوك ستور من شهرين انتي مش فاهمة يعني حبيبة قلبي يعني.
رحت بيتها كله حصل صدفة.
مفيش حاجة صدفة.
بس
مفيش حاجة صدفة.
But I mean yeah.
هتعرفي هي حصلت ليه one way or another. لو مش النهاردة بكرة، ولو مش بكرة كمان سنة.
That's true.
كمان سنة كمان 10.
صح. فرحت لها البيت، بس هي حصلت كده يعني برضا ربنا. رحت لها البيت وقاعدين وبتاع ومفيش اي حاجه، and her dad came and sat with us وكذا، وابتدينا نتكلم عن crystals. I was like, I love crystals because I saw his crystals like, and I recognize your crystals. I love crystals. فhe's like, طب عايزه كريستال ايه؟ قلت له لا ما اعرفش. قال لي انت عايزه ايه؟ I want love. طبعا I was saying it sarcastically because that's what any girl in our age will say, you know. Like, I want love. He was like, okay, and he made me this, okay. And I wore it because I thought it was such a beautiful gesture. Well, I was like, you know what? If he says it's gonna bring me love, it's gonna bring me love.
صح.
قطعت مني actually.
Of affirmation.
واتقطعت مني في الساحل في بسين. I was just in the beach وأول مرة أنزل بسين أصلا في الساحل. واتقطعت. لقيت صحابي بيقولوا في كريستالز في البسين، لموها لي كلهم and I put it في بتاعة السنارة and I burnt it and I wore it again. And fast forward, it manifested in my life not love strictly in هو boy girl or relationship love.
But I have to tell you something about the crystal, about the
What, am I wearing it wrong?
What you're wearing. So the rule is when it's broken or when the خيط بيتفك or بيتقطع or whatever, you just let it go.
But it was in the pool still. They found it.
Still, you were looking for it and you were attached to it.
Yeah.
You need to let it go.
But I don't want
because it was meant to go and it served its purpose for a certain time.
The crystal.
Yes, and then you can make a new one.
It's been a couple months, girl.
ما هو
Do you want to use the beads for something?
No, you could just, since you're in Guna, you could just take it and just
put it in the sea.
Put it in the sea or bury it in the ground and really just disconnect and disconnect with
I'm getting a hot flash.
Yes, I can see that. مش disconnect لا طبعا بالعكس connectي with yourself and with it and وفهمي ايه attachment معاها وبعدين
because this taught me because this made me realize something really major in my life.
وبعدين بابا جيجي موجود يعمل لك واحدة تانية.
He did say that to me. Actually لا استني ده أحلى من كده. أنا this symbolized to me my awareness of the true meaning of love. I have 40 rules of love, not strictly the relationship love. This made me realize how بجد coming from a place of love and receiving things from a place of love and it teaches you sympathy and empathy and awareness and that we're all human وكلنا غلطين, we're all sinners. And it made me realize just because I could demolish you with words doesn't mean that that's what I want to do. It's not what I meant to do. عارفة لما بتمشي بسكينة انتي غصب عنك, that's what I felt like I was doing, and that caused a lot of issues for me in my life that I didn't realize, all linked back to not practicing from a place of love. But this is why I am attached to it لأنه since I made that shift بجد all my relationships changed.
That's amazing.
With everyone.
It's because it served its purpose already and everything changed.
That's true.
So that's why it wants to just go.
Okay, I'll release it after this. I swear I will.
And I want to tell you something.
And Gigi's dad, she came to my house with a crystal bigger than this book. Yeah. 3 times the thickness of a pure rose quartz.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's the best thing that's ever been given to me.
يعني بصي جيجي وبابا ربنا يديله الصحة صراحة هم جمال. يعني I've always connected with them كده.
You know.
On a different level الصراحة. Yeah, so
likewise people attract each other.
Yes, for sure.
You and I with
I
Gigi
haven't been doing anything for this past year and 2020 طبعا 2020 و 2021 بالنسبة لي أنا I'm meeting new people بس that are really similar to me, that are like
because you let go the
aligned
need
with my energy وحاجات كده. الصراحة أحلى ناس قابلتها. و I want to say something very very important عشان في ناس كتير قوي كتير قوي بتزعل. أي حد that's on his or her journey, he or she will lose a lot of people and gain a lot of people on the road because a lot of energy is shifting. فالناس مش مفروض تزعل ولا تاخد على نفسها ولا تفتكر انه دي حاجة ليها علاقة بيهم هم شخصيا. لا, هي ليها علاقة بالoverall energy. انه انتي ممكن تبقي بجد قريبة من ناس كتير قوي في وقت معين, بعد فترة ما تبقيش, بعد فترة ترجعوا تبقوا قريبين. الحياة فيها حاجات كتيرة قوي ومشاغل كتيرة قوي والواحد بيتسحل في حاجات كتيرة قوي. مش مفروض حد يزعل من حد, مش مفروض حد يتضايق من حد. مفروض كلنا نسuport one another ونفهم انه كل واحد بيجي في وقت معين عشان حاجة معينة وبيمشي في وقت معين عشان حاجة معينة من غير ما نزعل ومن غير ما نتضايق. ودي حاجة مهمة قوي قوي قوي. It's يعني message.
And that people going through their journey, if they're not as accessible as you're used to, it has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It's not a reflection of how they feel towards you.
It could be something that has to do with me personally.
It probably does.
I am healing, and it's not easy to heal. It's not as easy as people think it is, especially people who haven't been through the same experiences and the same يعني.
And we're so accessible all the time now that يعني I had some.
لما باجي على نفسي وبعمل حاجة بالعكس أنا بقع.
Exactly.
I'm not helping myself إني أساعدك. طب أنا هساعدك إزاي لو أنا مش عارفة أساعد نفسي؟ هحبك إزاي لو أنا مش عارفة أحب نفسي؟
But communicating that, like I had to communicate today with someone I care very much about, and I just had to explain because I wasn't answering messages, and it has nothing to do with this person whatsoever. I simply just said, I really message me anytime you feel like it. Just know that when I basawar the podcast, when I'm not filming, I'm usually just trying to recharge, whatever that means for me. I'm cooking, I'm sleeping, I'm watching
it's
TV.
Okay. Even if you're posting, you know.
Even if I'm posting, by the way.
الموضوع ده اللي هو أنا كلمتك ولا كلمتك وما بترديش بس you're posting.
Or you saw my story, but that's it. It requires a different energy.
يا جماعة مش كده.
بالظبط.
إحنا ليه بنقف لبعض على الواحدة؟ إحنا الدنيا أسهل من كده. Life is simple, and we can make it a lot simpler. We just have to be around the right people and just understand one another and have some sympathy and have some love.
Love. Let's do the reading thing.
So as I said earlier, we're not really we're just playing.
مش بنشوف البخت.
يعني أنا مش.
It's an energy thing.
Yeah, and أصلاً أنا يعني أنا بس بحب أخش على يوتيوب واتفرج على الحاجات دي.
احنا مش هنقول حاجة هتحصل، احنا بنقول
الحاجات دي I just like anything that's related to energy. اي حاجة
عادي. مع عمرو اديب بيجيب واحدة كل ديسمبر بتقول اللي هيحصل في السنة، عادي احنا بنلعب. It's okay.
yeah.
The good thing is if you say anything embarrassing, I'll just bleep over it. I'm just kidding.
It's okay. So this is Osho Zen Tarot. Okay. And I'm just gonna like shuffle.
You know when we're done, I'm gonna release this in the ocean. You're gonna come with me.
You're very strong.
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
Okay, so I shuffled. And I'm gonna lay them. You just take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. And I just want you with your hands to just move كده until you feel the card that you would like to pick.
Keep touching this one. Okay. And I actually did want to pick the first one.
So your card is
The Outsider. Okay, what does that mean? Is it number 5 or are they all number 5s?
No. It is number 5. Is it your number?
It's 5 and 2 and 3. So 23 and 5.
Okay, so 5 is the number of change.
Okay.
Okay, especially if you see a 555. I'm also into numerology, and I'm into all that crazy voodoo stuff. Okay. So give me a call if you wanna like chill.
I'm into the voodoo crazy, not voodoo, but you know, the energy.
Yeah. Some people are about.
I'm woke.
Yes.
I choose to believe there's so much more to life than what we already know. There has to be a reason إن في العلم ده وإن في مخ في دماغنا وإن في وقت لسه. There has to be so much more to learn. And these things were around أصلا before. So we're just learning more and more about it and how to use it. I think learning how to use.
So would you like to read your?
No, you can go ahead. No.
Okay. So the card basically has a child standing behind a fence or behind like a gate, and there's a chain. Okay. So it's saying that the small child in this card is standing on one side of a gate, looking through it. He's so small and so convinced that he cannot get through. He cannot see that the chain holding the gate is not locked. All he has to do is open it. Simply. Whenever we feel left out or excluded, it brings up this feeling of being a small, helpless child. It's not surprising, as the feeling is deeply rooted in our earliest childhood experiences. The problem is that because it's so deeply rooted, it plays over and over again like a tape in our lives. You have an opportunity now to stop the tape, to quit tormenting yourself with ideas that you are somehow not enough to be accepted and included. Recognize the roots of these feelings in the past and let go of the old pain. It will bring you the clarity to see how you can open the gate and enter that which you most long to become. So you are feeling yourself an outsider, and this is so good. This is the transitory period. Now you have to be alert not to fill yourself with the pain and misery. Who is going to console you? You don't need any consolation. Humanity has come of age. Be a man, be a woman, and stand on your own feet. The only way to be connected with existence is to go inwards, because there are the center you are still connected to. You have been disconnected physically from your mother. That disconnection was absolutely necessary to make you an individual in your own right, but you are not disconnected from the universe. Your connection with the universe is of consciousness. You cannot see it, so you have to go deep down with great awareness, watchfulness, witnessing, and you will find the connection. Yeah, so does that make sense, or does that like resonate with you in any way?
In every way.
Yeah, those cards are amazing.
I don't even know where to start. So wow.
Yeah.
أنا first of all, when I was born, a homeopathist figured this out for me, but when I was born, because I was born early, 7 months only, I was literally physically taken away from my mom to be in an incubator for a couple weeks to a month. Then number one, first physical detachment. And that caused a lot of attachment issues for me in my development. Wow. So I'm very, very standoffish because I truly, certain things bother me to the point where I act like a child because there is that little girl who then, my parents had to travel because my dad was sick. And then that happened that I was 12.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have not lived with my parents since.
It's amazing.
You know?
You should take a screenshot of this.
This is, But a lot of the things that I had to deal with emotionally at the time, I didn't have time to deal with it then because we were on survival mode. And I had to deal with them as a grown-up, and a lot of them festered inside me. Yani, I have major abandonment issues. Not that they abandoned me by choice, but because it was one day it was a full house, and the next day it was like, where's everyone? And now, like, I could cry right now. Lola nana بجد ماسكة نفسي. But it's such a deep pain because then you think of like that inner child.
I feel you.
And every time I think of her, I get really upset.
I feel you. It's okay. You have to cry. You have to let it out. This is something that you have to let it out.
You made me cry.
This is something that you have to let out. It's part of nature.
That's where the anger came in, though, because you're not emotionally you're not emotionally mature enough to deal with it at the time, but feeling like a child who's trapped, you feel like you're destined to have it be so hard because that's all you knew when you were young. And definitely not being with my mom specifically, it's like the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. Because I was really attached. But the child, like that little girl inside me, شفتي أول ما كلمت عنها ابتديت أعيط لأن she was like that she's in pain, or she was in a lot of pain.
A very, very nice exercise that you can do with this inner child of yours. How about we call her a name and have a discussion with her.
Is this now?
No. It's not now.
It's a hot flash number 2.
Exercise for you to do later.
You know, but I respect. You said it. That physical. You read it. The physical detachment from your mother was necessary for your development as an individual.
Yes.
حفظتها because it was. I am so grateful for every single thing that I went through. I would not like to go through it again, but I'm very glad that I went through it one and done, because it really made me a person. Like I stand on 5 feet. Like I'm solid. But because I was not solid for so long, and I wouldn't let that happen to myself. فاهمة قصدي؟ بتوه وكذا بس. But I know who I am.
كلنا بنتوه بس المهم انك بترجعي لنفسك.
بالضبط.
You come inside and you look inward, and this is what's most important, because you know أنا مثلا with my parents, I feel like sometimes they baby me because of everything I've been through, and they're overprotective عليا recently عشان قلقانين عليا ومن الدنيا ومن اللي بقى يحصل. بس هم مش فاهمين ان انا لما باخد كده my جنب كده it's because انا بقوي نفسي
بتعالجي نفسك بنفسك.
بعالج نفسي بنفسي.
Because you already know what you need to do.
I don't want anyone's help. I don't want someone to come and tell me خدي here's my hand.
Or here's an antidepressant, go numb yourself for the next 20 years.
This isn't what I want. What I want is to be able to stand on the 5th foot on my own. فاهمة؟ And يعني برضو, by the way, all healers are wounded. It's called the wounded healer, and even healers who heal people are wounded themselves. يعني ما فيش حد مش موجوع. ما فيش حد.
Everyone has wounds that they're not dealing with, and it's just about how numb are you right now from
how you're
this
dealing with it, and look yourself in the mirror and
talk about it.
Talk about it بالظبط.
This to me, like على فكرة, I have a lot of credentials. I could be working in a lot of different things and making a lot more money. But the only thing that saved this little girl from being somewhere completely different was conversations. Listening to conversations, watching conversations, having conversations, talking about it. But wow, like the fact that the door looks chained, but little do you know that there's no key in it. Aslan, you could just open it up. I say this to myself all the time. I'm like,
Yeah, I think it was.
At the time it was hard, but now I have so many more skills, and life is. I'm not on. None of us are on survival mode anymore, and it's just turning that off. And honestly, I think I've done a really good job so far, and I think.
Of course, you have.
I think I have a long way to go, but I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track.
You are.
Let's go put this in the sea.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
I know, Awi.
I can't believe you made me cry. I held myself because when this crying, I could have just, it would have been bad.
لا بس بجد I'm so happy.